Okay, I think that's good. We can get started. So welcome everybody to the Moving Image and Digital Arts Postgraduate Open Day session. So the courses that we'll be talking about today are MA 3D Computer Animation, MA Animation, MA Animation Online, MA Games Design, MA Virtual Reality, and MA Visual Effects. So I am Susi Wilkinson. I'm the Programme Director for the Moving Image and Digital Arts Programme. And we're also joined by Ria Lee, who is a graduate. Ria, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, great. I am currently graduated from the MAVR course in the school, but I do got a bachelor course degree from the same school as well, from the VFX and the pathway from the animation course. And so I do feel like I have a really, deep emotional bond with LCC and the media department.
Thanks, Ria. So we'll be hearing from Ria throughout the session, and also Ria will be here to answer questions at the end. So thank you so much, Ria, for joining us as well. So we're going to start with a short film.
You have something to say. You know it, we know it. But how can you show it? Creativity can be challenging. Maybe you'll do something unexpected. Dream up an idea, then flip it on its head. Maybe you'll look a little deeper, imagine new futures, tell new stories, make people feel things. Maybe you just don't know how to show it, and you try one way and then another way, and keep trying and failing until you find the right way. Your way. Because whatever you have to say, however big or small it might feel, you owe it to yourself to say it. Take your idea, make it a reality, and then set it free. Creativity can be challenging, sure, but guess what? You're up for the challenge. So, what are you gonna say?
So why choose to study at LCC? So we're pioneering world leader in creative communication education, and we're part of UAL, University of the Arts London, the largest art and design provider in Europe. We have a great reputation. The college has been established since 1894, and we've been located in Elephant and Castle in central London for over 50 years. London College of Communication is home to future-facing creatives who explore and rethink what communication is and why it matters. We learn, research, teach, and create across design, media, and screen schools. And we support our students to explore the power of storytelling, developing a career they love, and make a difference across wider society. LCC is one of 6 colleges that form UAL, and we're ranked second in the world for art and design, which we're very proud of. This is in the QS World University Rankings by subject for 2023 for art and design. And we are also #1 ranking for games and animation in the Guardian Good Universities Guide. So there's lots and lots to be proud of. We've been named a top 5 greenest university and the highest ranking London university in the Green League. And we've moved from 45th to 15th in the overall Guardian rankings. So yeah, quite exciting. So Moving Image and Digital Arts is one of 3 programs in the Screen School. So there's 3 schools in LCC altogether with about 1,500 students in each. So you work alongside Media School, Design School, and you are in the Screen School. Our core aim is to enable everyone who studies with us to develop their skills, their confidence, knowledge and experience, and their attitude, everything you need to be effective and innovative creators and to succeed in your chosen field. Our courses have creative communication at their heart, and across all our courses, we encourage our students to explore the power of storytelling, creating compelling narratives to develop a career that you will be passionate about. The Screen School brings film and television together with the disciplines of games, animation, virtual reality, and sound and music. So within the school, we are games, animation, and virtual reality, but we also sit alongside sound and music and film and television. So it's a really exciting place for our students to be. Within the Screen School, we have 3 programs. So the subjects here are not taught in isolation, but with a diverse creative community, enabling you to bridge the gap between your aspirations and your success within the creative industries. This is where the stories are told through each and every unique voice and perspective. Our students and staff are a dynamic selection of creatives and storytellers, and through the use of sight and sound, produce innovative and engaging experiences. From collaborative unit projects to industry-led live briefs, you will have opportunities to work with students across our 3 schools, where you're encouraged to share your ideas and draw on each of your unique talents and skill sets. And we have, to evidence this, a short film.
London College of Communication is located at Elephant and Castle, which is right in the centre of London. We've been teaching film and television here for nearly 40 years, and we're constantly bringing in new courses as the industry changes. We have courses in film and television, sound arts and screenwriting, but we also have courses in animation, virtual reality and games design. We create narratives and interactive experiences for our audiences. We know the industry is not as diverse as our student body, so it's a social justice issue for us to train our students to become the new faces of industry and to carry their voices forward.
We're a film school, a screen school, a university that have got things to say about how the industry can be even better than it is. So we're also looking into the future and saying, this is fantastic, but there's a lot that we can improve. We ask big questions about film culture and film heritage. We emerge from that with relevant contributions to developing a global culture.
It's really important to me to live and study in a place that has so many different people and cultures.
We're launching our new master's program in alternative reality and virtual reality. Those are newish technologies that are helping us rethink what an engagement with a range of human experience might be.
One of the really exciting things about coming to study at the London College of Communication is that everybody is studying a creative discipline of some sort, and they all interconnect.
We offer the opportunity for our students to collaborate across courses. This means students from BR get to work with a student studying sound design, get to work with students in animation. This is a really important opportunity for our students to understand a real-world creative environment. Students are fully prepared to go out into the industry and be the creative voices of the future.
Looking back, I really value the luxury of collaboration, the joy of working with people.
The college has incredible facilities from workshops and technical suites through to the Stanley Kubrick archive that contains everything from his shooting scripts to his advertising campaigns.
I think I'm going to leave LCC with a much more developed practice, a lot more confidence in the work that I'm making and the direction I'm going, a broader network, and just more experience in presenting my work as well in a variety of different contexts.
Having people who understand games design and music production and even things like screen printing around you can really help.
We have many alumni that we're extremely proud of. They've won Oscars, they've won BAFTAs. Their films have screened at Cannes and Sundance and festivals all over the world. It's really important for us to continue to understand and celebrate our history and take it with us into the future.
So as I said, we are the Moving Image and Digital Arts programme, one of 3 programmes within the Green School. And we're future facing, so we have industry standard technical facilities. We've got VR labs, creative technology labs, motion capture and green screen, a render farm, we've got high spec computers. And the courses have all been developed in response to industry developments. So we're also leading in research and development projects in areas such as virtual reality and immersive media, games development, computer animation and visual effects. Collaboration is central to our student experience, and having team members from a range of cultural and experiential backgrounds is a great benefit, sharing perspectives and enabling our students to seek inspiration from within their peer group. Examples of recent projects: we've supported students in international virtual projects, such as collaborations with Global Campus Studio based in Toronto Metropolitan University, 360-degree filmmaking in collaboration with Universidad del Desarrollo in Chile, a cross-cultural project brought together LCC MA animation students with Mahidol University Bangkok, Thailand students to co-create an AR graffiti installation in London and Bangkok. So these are just examples of ways in which we really benefit from our global perspectives. We're also establishing international exchange partnerships around the world. All our staff are from a range of creative and vocational backgrounds with a vast array of expertise between them. And alongside our permanent academic staff, we employ many associate lecturers, part-time staff who are otherwise working in industry or in research. And our specialist technicians who support the programme all have industry backgrounds and expertise. We're filmmakers and digital arts makers first and foremost, and we learn through doing. This is the centre of our ethos. We like to get our hands dirty, to take risks, explore new ideas, experiment with different techniques, innovate in our approaches, and be happy to learn through failure in a supportive environment. So the majority of assignments are practical in all of our courses and have product outcomes, and combining theory and practice in projects is how we ensure the students develop a meaningful and critically engaged practice. Every course embeds a vibrant industry speaker programme which is relevant to their discipline, often open to all students, so you can tailor your learning and your unique interests and perspectives. We ensure we capitalise on our location, which is Zone 1 of London, so students benefit from our proximity to the creative industries through studio visits, live projects with industry clients, internships, and we've had all sorts of successful internships with places like Framestore, Disney, Passion Pictures, Blink Inc. We have live project clients including Third Floor, Barbican, Dulwich Picture Gallery, Chucklefish, Channel 4, National Trust. There's a lot of different ways in which we engage with industry. We also attract high caliber industry guests to the graduate showcase, where students can present their final course projects before graduating. And we partner with Aesthetica Short Film Festival. And at this point, I think it'd be nice to bring Ria in just to talk a bit about that.
Oh, hi. So speaking of the Aesthetica Film Festival, I've been there for twice. It's an annually held event. And I've been there, the first time I've been there, I was joined as a volunteer because the course leader of my MA course, Anna, she got the connection to the event team, and then we'll just be super excited, you know, like this is the field trip, and we got to know some other people that work in the industry as well. And the second year I submitted my collaboration unit project as a part of the work to the festival, and then we got selected. So I joined that second time as invited guest or something. And then, you know, you can see that it is very tight connections, and it's a really good opportunity to meet people outside of school, but they still have interest in this similar area that you're working in. And also the Aesthetica Film Short Film Festival, it is a really broad ranged festival. I was working in VR and I submit my VR work there, but there is also a lot of film companies, VFX companies, and they're delivering lecturers there. So me as a VFX graduate, I also learned a lot from their speeches, sorry, and got a great chance to meet other people from the film industry as well. And they have the game lab from last year. So I do believe that these covers almost all these courses under this MEDA program, and everyone who gets in would be beneficial from this brilliant festival. And we got tons of other chances like this as well. It's not just Aesthetica.
Great, thank you, Ria. So that nicely leads into employability. So while studying at LCC, you can access placements, professional development, and career support. And you have, and we really use this opportunity to develop valuable skills such as resilience, adaptability, entrepreneurial links and skills, really focusing on your ability to sell and understand where you fit into your chosen industry, and understand your individual strengths and weaknesses in relation to job opportunities, so we can work with you to develop an altogether rounded employable skill set. The overall emphasis and ethos is on what you learn that will prepare you for the world of work. So it's not just about teaching technical skills, it's really teaching the soft skills as well, and really teaching you how to learn. We also have an employability hub, which includes 5 years aftercare after you've graduated. And I'm going to come back to Ria again to talk about this experience, because Ria has now graduated, what's 3 months ago?
Yes, and I'm currently in touch with this career and employability service department from our school now. And I just know that after I graduated, there were also surveys like provided while we were students, which for me was a bit shame, but I would love everyone here to know that you can have access while you were studying, that, you know, like, because I am a student, I was worrying about like, where should I go after I graduate? But your worries are taken care. You can be taken care like by this department even while you're doing your course, and it's just fantastic. They have tons of events, networking sessions, and they have a lot online surveys that, for example, you can find your CV template, how do you write a cover letter, these things. And I do feel it is very helpful when you're getting put into this environment, that you get some kind of guidance or someone was taking care of you. You are not confusing and you know, sometimes be scared that not knowing what to do next. So it is really helpful that we got this service there. It's just over there, and they even have like one-to-one appointment. You can just book out and talk to someone. Then your question, I can't say they solve that within the session, but you got the directions later, and you're not lost during the way, like, you know, after you graduate or something.
Fantastic, thank you. What's happening there? There you go. So much of the work in the creative industries is based on team working and collaboration, which is at the heart of what we do in the Screen School. And collaboration happens in many ways across the school. So it might be VFX students collaborating with film and television students, or sound working with VR students. The students can find each other through taught units, but also through extracurricular projects. And I think this is one of the key drivers for the Screen School. It's central to our ethos that collaboration is not only a means to making great work, but it's also a way in which you can learn together. The projects are many and varied, so they're devised by each course team and often involve external partners. Collaboration can happen in multidisciplinary ways as well. So you might be a VR student requiring lots of different skills within the VR discipline, but then you might also require the skills of a film and television student. So learning how to work with other students on group projects is key to understanding industry workflows and pipelines. And it might be that you are also really useful to other people within their projects, which is a great way to build your CV and your portfolio. We have amazing facilities, so college-wide facilities that everybody has access to. We have a digital space that has a range of PCs and Mac computers, all with different kinds of software that will support your learning. We have a 3D workshop, which is actually a physical 3D workshop, so you can cut wood, you can laser cut, you can print, 3D print, all in a supported environment. We have a creative technology lab, which is where you can make VR projects, immersive arts projects, and play around with things like our brand new 270-degree cinema, which is brand new. We're very excited. We have print workshops. So we are actually the old London College of Printing. So we still have a lot of our reprographics, and students can do screen printing, book binding, letterpress. And we also have an amazing library and learning zone. And once you are a UAL student, you can use the libraries in our other 5 campuses. So that's quite liberating for students who'd like to explore. And within our program, we also have specialist spaces and facilities. So the technical spaces are places like our high performance computer labs. They are really high performance. We have a range, as I said, for the digital space. We also have the same in our own program computer studios. So we have PCs and Macintosh, depending on what suits your discipline. We also have immersive arts and visual effects capture studios. We've got a new motion capture studio, which has come at great expense. It's very exciting. There's a lot of work being made by students in there. But we also have Rococo motion capture suits. So that's where the capture technology is in the suit itself, and it's much more mobile. We have VR studios, and we have a huge range of software that at the last count was 180 different types of software and plugins, which is a lot. But the big hitters are like software such as Toon Boom, Maya, Nuke, Adobe Creative Cloud, ZBrush, Unity, Unreal. And we have all sorts of equipment like Cintiq's Mobile Studios, Alienware's, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Blackmagic 4K computers, cameras. And I think Ria might have something more to add here.
Oh, sure. I just wanted to mention that because I do the media program department is a very friendly, big family. So everything, for example, I'm a VR student, but I need help from some, I might want to borrow some equipment for motion capture that, usually falls under 3D animation or something else, but I just need to pop into the office and ask for help. And that's it. That's how simple it is. It's so it is like you join one of the courses, but you actually get benefits from all the other courses, spaces and facilities as well. And also let's bring back to the collaboration thing. It's always good to, while you're not sure how to use this or that, you can ask for someone in a different course to help you, and then you build up your connections, and it's brilliant. And also I do feel all these facilities and equipment, that is an ongoing updating that meet up the like industry standards. And this is actually very helpful because for example in the Unreal virtual productions, that is something that you can't afford yourself at home, but once you gain knowledge and experience using that become a really strong point while you're looking for your future jobs, because that is the very novel new technique in the post-production now. And then you're one of some of the unique person who had experience in that, and that makes you really strong points.
I think you're making a really good point as well, about, for instance, Unreal, which at the moment is the software of choice. Everyone's very excited about Unreal and how much you can do. And 2 members of staff have just completed the Unreal Fellowship. So our staff are constantly training and building their skill set. But I think it's an important point to make that you are going to learn a range of softwares. And really what's important about this is not that you come to study to learn software. That's not what we're about. You come to learn how to learn the software.
Yes.
Industry, it's constantly going to change. You're constantly going to have to be updating your skills, but because you are already versatile with one piece of software, you will find it easier to learn, and that kind of self-learning is really, really important. So the time that you spend with your tutors, you will get taught some technical learning because these are very technical subjects, but you will spend, and Ria can maybe feed into this as well, but you'll spend a lot of time developing your creative skills and how to apply that technology.
Yes, that's why I mentioned that if you want to use something that looks like not that the mainstream of your course, just don't hesitate, because this is a very I would say like broad range course, and it's very welcoming new ideas and creative ideas. Like if you want to do something that no one else did that before, like don't worry, we got a bunch of very solid support back. That's how powerful the department is, and they are here to help you, and also they helped me. That's why I got so much trust in that.
Thank you, Ria. So we are moving to a new building, expected to move in 2026. So if some of you are applying for the next academic year, this won't affect you, but in time it will start to affect some cohorts will move mid-studying. So anyway, again, we're very excited. It's an exciting move, but we're building a new building. So when you come to London and to Elephant and Castle and to LCC, you'll see opposite our current buildings that there is a new building site, and eventually this is what it's going to look like. And apparently this is us up here. So student, alumni and successes. So we do submit students' work to festivals and competitions, and sometimes we run competitions as part of our courses. So currently we've got the 11 Second Club running. Students put work into the rookies. We've had short listings for Tiger Awards, the TIGA Games Awards. We've had winners at Aesthetica, National Television Awards, Nahimi. So lots and lots of ways in which students not only gather their professional skills, but they also have these amazing experiences where they can have their work shown in different kind of contexts and maybe win prizes. So many courses offer field trips. These might be to animation festivals. So MA Animation is going to Cardiff this year to the Animation Festival. Last year went to Monstra, which is in Lisbon. We've been to Pictoplasma. Games design go to WASD. VFX go to VFX festival. So there's lots of different opportunities to travel, maybe abroad or maybe in the UK, because a lot of our students are international. So traveling around the UK is actually quite an adventure. So this can be a really good way to enrich your course. So I'm going to move on now to the specific course detail. So we've got 6 courses within our programme. All our courses are 15 months full-time in person, with the exception of MA Animation Online, which is an online course and it's part-time over 2 years. And full-time, what that actually means is we anticipate that you will spend around 40 hours per week on your learning. Part of that time is contact time, so you won't be expected to be in the building being taught for 40 hours, but you will be expected to do 40 hours of learning. And that contact time will vary depending on the course and on the unit. So the first course I'm going to talk about is MA 3D Computer Animation. This is a practice-led course. It explores both theory and practice of digital 3D animation in film, television, games, and interactive applications. And students can create and explore and play with 3D digital technologies and develop a specialist personal practice. The animation industry in itself is rapidly evolving with new developments in real-time animation and the immersive digital world building. So this course is working hard to stay on top of these industry changes. And these students often find themselves in the position of being really, really able to collaborate, let's say with visual effects students or VR students, as this discipline lends itself really well to that multi-discipline approach. Students are given the tools to be innovative in their approaches through experimentation and learning, and it's underpinned by a strong critical understanding and learning through self-reflection. During the course, you'll create 3D computer animation sequences and assets, and you'll work individually and as part of creative teams to understand 3D workflows and pipelines and how they relate to industry discipline. So MA Animation is different from MA 3D Computer Animation in that it explores more of an experimental approach, and you might choose to work in 2D or 3D, and those students also have access to printmaking, to stop motion, and it's really about exploring your practice and working out how you would like to tell your stories. So this course is for anyone that wishes to harness your talent and use animation in your profession. And it might attract artists, filmmakers, creatives, or academics with old or new formats. You must have some knowledge of animation to apply. However, what we really look for is something of an experimental portfolio where you have a practice that you would really like to develop. So if you feel like your portfolio is already complete, then this might be an opportunity to really rethink how you would like to approach your practice rather than to continue on that same vein. You'll be encouraged to test boundaries and experiment to find your own creative voice, and you'll explore meaningful themes while learning how to engage with audiences through multidisciplinary approaches and outlining critical ideas in visual culture. So you can expect to develop accomplished skills in animation practice that you've evidenced in that you will evidence in your final portfolio of work. You can expect to test creative ideas within a critical framework and learn skills of team working, reflecting workflows of professional practices. and you can expect to develop a deeper knowledge of the theory that underpins your practice. And this next slide is showing some of the client projects that students have done on this course. So although it is about experimentation and developing a new practice for yourself, there will also be opportunities for you to apply your learning in a professional real life situation. MA Animation Online has the same curriculum as MA Animation in person, but the emphasis is on how students can collaborate in an online format and using the resources they have within their means. So our students on the MA Online course do collaborate with students who are in person. And so we are building those relationships and connections in really, really interesting ways. And often what we find with MA Animation Online and our online courses is that these courses are attractive to students who might be local to LCC. So just because they are online doesn't mean that we wouldn't ever get to meet them. And as a student on the online course, you would have access to the library, but you wouldn't have access to our technical facilities. Other than, I should add, we do have remote access and rendering facilities. MA Games Design is rooted in experimental practice and focuses on developing the technical and critical skills to produce a broad portfolio of innovative game prototypes. You'll critically examine the concept of play in relation to your practice. You'll produce playable gaming experiences and use games design as a means to test critical ideas from broader culture. Your practice will be underpinned by rigorous research, case studies of existing games, and critical reflection of your own practice through academic writing. You will have a range of different subject backgrounds. You could be looking to explore games as an experimental practice and an academic undertaking, and you might want to progress into industry or further academic study. Our games design students have a shared characteristic as a desire for freedom to explore your own ideas with the support of academics, industry experts, and your peers. And MA Games Design is not only about computers and screens. It is, in fact, about all sorts of things. You could learn about custom controllers, games as installations, tabletop games, role-play games, escape rooms, experimental games, pervasive games, and so on. So it's very much about the individual shaping the course to suit their needs. MA Games Design is taught through a mixture of lectures, seminars, crits, exercises, and one-to-one support. Each term starts with experimentation and skills acquisition, and then throughout the term, you will become more focused on your individual projects and practice. MA Virtual Reality provides the opportunity to explore and develop the application of VR technologies across filmmaking, visual effects, animation, games, and immersive augmented reality experiences. The course will equip you with the technical resources and specialist guidance needed to test and develop virtual experiences across a range of media platforms, including 3D computer animation, 360-degree filmmaking, games, and interactive AR applications. You'll experiment with new approaches to the use of these technologies, as well as exploring the design and conceptualization pipeline for these virtual experiences. Across terms 1 and 2, you'll have the opportunity to explore and utilize an array of VR software pipelines, including VR painting, 3D modeling and environment design, 360-degree video capture, and games development. the course prepares you to progress into the fast-growing VR industry, as well as into sectors such as animation, film, television, games and marketing, which are all quickly adopting VR technologies. And just to say that this image shows, I think this was a VR chat event. So the course uses VR dedicated platforms for special events. I don't know if, were you part of that, Ria?
I feel like this might not be my year, but we do have this VR event held, not just for the course actually. We have a VR club. So like anyone who else interested in and you want to pop in, you can.
This was, I remember now, this was during the pandemic when we had, we were all in lockdown. And so we had the showcase was an event in the VR space, which was,
and I also know there like the MA game design, they had a virtual version of graduation ceremony in Animal Crossing, and that is very cute that everyone just getting to one's islands and they have the little stage perform there, and there was everyone just like sitting in front of the stage, and the teacher was there like delivering.
so nice. So MA visual effects. Oh, that's useful. Just give me a moment. We ran into a problem. Here we go. We're back. I'm just going to move my little box. There we go. So MA Visual Effects develops students to be industry practitioners going beyond software training. And the course fosters critical thinking and translating solid ideas into visual effects masterpieces. The curriculum offers critical thinking development, so honing critical thinking alongside technical skills, creative empowerment, so your innovative ideas can seamlessly evolve into the VFX projects you envision, expert guidance from experienced professionals dedicated to your growth, communities of creatives through a supportive community, portfolio enrichment, so you'll graduate with a portfolio brimming with evidence of your creativity and proficiency. And so these visuals that we're showing, they're student work. This is Daniel Lutfi as part of his graduation piece. So I think one of the key drivers of these courses really is about your creative learning and learning through your critical practice as well as through your developing your creative practice. And so the courses have lots and lots in common and lots of areas where they become very, very dedicated to developing you as a unique practitioner within that discipline. So these are the key contacts for you after the talk is finished. So you'll be able to contact admissions about your application, the accommodation services that we provide. Student support is through student services. There we have information about scholarships and fees in the funding vein, and general inquiries is at the bottom there. And now we have time for any questions that you might have. So thank you for listening. But I'm sure there's so much more that you would like to know.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Becky.
Hi, thank you so much for that presentation, and to Ria as well for your contributions. That's really interesting. So if anyone does have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A box. We've got a couple coming in, so I'll ask them to you now. This one is specifically about MA animation and 3D computer animation, but I think it's quite a nice question for all of the courses. What are the class sizes typically for these courses?
Okay, so and the question is for MA animation and MA 3D computer animation.
That's it, yes.
Yeah, so our class sizes, we don't go above 25. All our studios, our smallest studios might have 25 computers in them. So, but they tend to be smaller than that. So we would anticipate between 20 and 24 for those courses.
Perfect, thank you. And in terms of the round 1 application deadline that took place earlier on this year, there is someone who is asking if applicants have been invited for an interview.
It depends what course. So some courses don't interview.
Yes. This is for animation and 3D computer animation.
So 3D computer animation does interview and animation doesn't. So you probably, we're just in the process of going through our interviews now. So if you haven't heard yet, maybe it's worth following up with our admissions team from 3D computer animation.
Perfect, thank you. And in terms of portfolio, do you have any advice as to what you look for? And for those who might not have kind of obvious examples to give, what would be a good thing to include in a portfolio?
Does it say which course?
No, it doesn't say which course specifically.
Okay. So I think there should be quite a lot of guidance on the website. So I would look at the guidance just to make sure. So what we try to do with our courses is create them so that people can use them not only to advance skills that they might have acquired already through undergraduate study or through industry, but also to potentially develop a new practice. So I think RIA is a really good example, coming from BA animation, visual effects pathway and going into MA VR. So RIA did do some VR in BA animation, but a lot of your peers, I'm imagining RIA hadn't done it.
Oh wow, it's just because first thing I was very clear about I want to apply for the VR. So I brought that in as part of my course project as well. And that also I need to give thanks to the VR range that in our school is very broad, because I didn't know how to use Unity at all in my bachelor degree, but 360 film counts. And also one of my piece with my VFX, how do I say, like showreel, that also have a similar effects like screen recording from an AR app. So that's, I used it as a prototype or concept piece, as saying that, look, I was interested in these kind of techniques. I did not know that before, but this is my idea. And that also helps while you're applying for the course, because obviously if you are applying like crossover to a different course, that's some of the skills that were necessarily people are looking for what that, but if there was not something that necessarily stated on the website page, you don't have to stress about that too much, just showing that you got the interest in, and also you got a very clear idea like what you're gonna do during your master course, and then people see your enthusiasm, then people see your determination and see your ability of learning the required skills during the studying period, then that would help for your application pretty much.
Yeah, I think that your experience is really useful there. And I think having this, the kind of use that space to talk about what it is you want to do with the course. So it's not just about showing absolutely polished, brilliant skills. It's showing potential, but also a passion. So we look for ability, obviously, but we really want to help our students to move discipline if that's what they want to do. So showing a capacity for learning, showing creativity, showing that passion for your subject is really key to a good portfolio.
That's great, thank you. We have had someone follow up that question with MA animation specifically. Would you like examples to be experimental, or can it be 2D character animation as well?
And this is for VR.
This is for animation, MA animation.
This is for MA animation. I think one of the things I would say is we do look for originality. So try to avoid anything that looks too derivative of something you might see in the mainstream. So originality, and we really like to see process. So if you are developing something in 2D and something in 3D, that's all fine. Although I think MA animation would be less inclined to work in 3D. So that would probably be for MA 3D computer animation. But make sure that we see how you got to that end result so that we can really understand your process, because that's where you're going to develop. And that's what's quite exciting for us when we're reviewing portfolios.
Perfect, thank you. And I have a question for Ria. What are you hoping to go on to do with your master's degree?
Oh, like while I was applying for that.
Or what are you doing now, and what do you hope to kind of do in your career?
Oh, for now, I am like, first thing, I want to attend the Aesthetic of Short Film Festival this year as well. So I'm preparing the project for that as my personal project and submit that. That is part of, you know, as myself in like development. And I'm currently looking into jobs in some game companies. That's because usually there's no single VR companies now. Like, I mean, like the companies only does VR or AR. I was looking into roles in a company that they have VR projects, but also my skills can contribute to their, usually it's the mobile game, or some of the companies they're doing commercials, because I also have a VFX background. I can help in the how to say, the like the commercial advertisement things there as well.
Amazing. That sounds really interesting. Look forward to kind of having some updates going
Yeah,
forward.
and also there's a lot of VR networking sessions that if you it's just because I'm looking for like working specifically now, so I would say attend a lot, as much as possible, networking sessions in VR games. That would help a lot if the how do I say, if the students asking the question also thinking the same thing as I am. And if it's going to more an artist way, I would say film festival is a great place to be. That is what I'm doing now, but I'm just not focusing on that for now. But it's possible if you want to be an artist, just submit your work everywhere.
Perfect. I think that makes lots of sense. And Ria, what was your favorite part of studying at LCC as an LCC student?
Oh, I would say that's the part of my spirit hometown now. I've been here for over 5 years, almost 6 years. So now I feel it's very, you know, just like coming back home. I moved in London every year, but the school doesn't move. So that is the only place I can say, oh, I'm coming back there. Then the first thing. And also, I think the reason why I feel so safe and comfortable inside LCC is because we do have super brilliant teams. The media office, everyone's so friendly, helpful, and facilities, I get used to that, then I feel safe with them as well. And also, yeah, it's just the people here, because you know you can learn the skills anywhere in the world. There's online courses, but it's very hard to find the group of people that you really get along with, and you just feel good. It's them that they helped you, and you want to contribute to the course as well.
Perfect.
Worth mentioning as well that when Ria started in the BA animation course, she was started as as an animation student, but then when they needed an actor in a visual effects shoot, it was Ria. And now, after all these years, then as an MA student, Ria became a student learning advisor on the BA course. So that's a teaching assistant, and now is a student learning advisor to both MA and BA. And I say that Ria is very special, but it is a career trajectory. We have a lot of students graduate and start working at UAL, which is really exciting to be able to say that we can do that.
Yeah, that's great. Really nice to see our students wanting to stay in the college. Two more questions and then we will conclude for the evening. We have someone asking for some portfolio advice for games design. If you wouldn't mind giving some, please.
Yeah, so I've got some notes here actually, because I want to get this right for the MA Games Design course. So they say to demonstrate what you've made. Videos and links to playable games are really helpful. And if you haven't made a game yet, try something small or follow an online exercise and show us that. And I think that's really good advice for portfolios of all kinds. So if you are an amazing illustrator, but you haven't made a game, or amazing illustrator and haven't made an animation, do something, because we do, we would look at ability through that work that you then choose to put in your portfolio. In the personal statement, they say to talk about your relevant experiences and talk about the types of games that you'd like to make. And this comes back to what Ria was saying, to really talk about what your ambitions are for this course. What is it that you will propose to do within the course? And talk about what you want to do in the future. And also to suggest a study proposal, so propose a project you'd like to work on. So include your aims, your methodology, and your case studies. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And then the final question for the evening is, are there any mistakes to avoid in portfolios and personal statements? This is specifically for MA VR, but it might apply to the rest of the courses as well.
Yeah, I think it really, don't put anything, don't make it feel too polished. So it's fine to show us a polished final piece, but if we don't understand your workings to that point, it's really hard for us to stand how you might springboard into a new direction of study. So we want to have people who really feel like they will benefit from this experience. So avoid anything too derivative. So anything that looks like copycat art, avoid just putting an end product. Show us your workings, make sure there's no dead links. Those kind of things are really key. So we don't want to go to your wonderful Vimeo account and find it's password protected, because we can't look at things that way. So log out when you're putting your links so that we see the right links. Anything to add, Ria?
Oh, well, for VR, I would say, because the course is way wider than I thought when I was applied for that. I learned that it's so much different branches, and I would say just don't put something that looks very irrelevant to the course. As I mentioned, I did VFX in my bachelor. It looks like not have any link to VR at all, but I did manage to produce a 360 film that counts part as the immersive technology. And I had this, the concept of AR stuff. So just remember to say that it's the concept, but just don't throw out all your, because you might have already got tons of brilliant works, but you don't explain that, then people can't see what's the link or what's the aim between your work and this course, and then they lose the possibility to see your potential. Just say that out, explain why I put the subject here, because I do remember when I was applying, there's a limitation on how many pages or how many projects I can put there. I put around 5 or 4, and these should have been selected. It's just not you know, that might not be your best of best work if you're coming from different background, but that should be the most relevant work. So you show that your potentials, and you showed your you know, like your plan afterwards, and that can be very helpful.
Great, thank you, Ria.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And for someone who's not coming from an arts background, is there any advice for them about what they could include?
Oh, well, just as I said, like if you're not coming from an arts background, you might at least have an idea on like what you're looking for to get from the VR, right? And just write it down. And also, even you're not good at drawing, but just in case illustration could help demonstrate your idea, or how would you like, for example, if you want to make a VR experience, and how would you like that experience to be while you're doing the course, and how the course is going to help you to, you know, enable you to have the ability to make it. Just be really detailed and specific on, like, you know, like your plan, your vision, and show that you have the potential that you can achieve this goal in this course, and that should be fine then.
Yeah, perfect. I think that's really, really good advice.
Because we had, and I mean, my classmate, and he was already graduated. He came from a computer science background. That's non-relevant, but he made some of his like previous games or something, and he put that in the portfolio. And I think he did quite well in the course as well. And he actually became the best of best student, because none of us know how to code. It's just only him know how to coding.
Useful. Perfect. And with that, we will conclude for the evening. So thank you so much, Ria and Susie, for taking us through and answering the questions just then. It was really insightful. Susie, if I just hand over to you to conclude, then I will end the webinar for the evening.
Thank you, Becky. Yes, thank you, everybody. So it's great to get your questions, and hopefully you've got notes of the contact list. Please do get in touch if you've got any more questions. So we know it's about you making the right decisions about where you go, as well as us making decisions about you. So please do, yeah, get in touch. Feel free to ask those questions. And we look forward to hopefully meeting some of you one day soon.